Today's episode, we've got this S13 here. It's my cousin's car. He's been slowly modifying it, getting it up to spec. We're going to be chucking some Recaros in it today. We're just going to be replacing these standard, absolutely destroyed standard S13 seats. So we're going to need to modify the rails possibly, just because they're not great quality. So yeah, come along for the ride and hopefully we can get it sorted.
Yeah guys, and if you're liking our content, it would mean a lot if you guys could just like, subscribe and share it to your friends and family. And yeah, we'll keep bringing you more content. Enjoy the video. So when it comes to fitting a new seat, pretty basic. Normally has 4 bolts. On most JDM models, you're looking at a 14mm. Not that sure for others. With you working on a vehicle that is, say, up to date with airbags and all that stuff, just make sure before you remove the seat or bolts, look underneath to see for any connections. If you are removing an airbag cable, it's normally got a yellow plug. Make sure you disconnect the battery first, because you don't want something blowing up on you and then it becomes a very costly experience. The main reason why these seats are being replaced is because the Recaro seats have much better bolsters. It holds you in the seat better, and if you're doing some turning or drifting or whatever, it's not going to throw you from side to side, so it's going to give you that more control behind the steering wheel. So yeah, let's start moving the seat out and I'll place it side by side with the old one so you can see what I was talking about. So I've got a impact gun here, and these bolts will be 2 on the front and 2 on the rear. Alrighty, and I'm just going to check underneath for any cables. Okay, so that's your seat belt light. On this vehicle, it doesn't have airbags, obviously being an older model, but it'll still have a seatbelt light, so if your seatbelt wasn't on, it'll bring it up on the dash. Make sure that's disconnected because you don't want to be ripping that out when you pull the seat out. So I've got the 2 front bolts out, then the 2 rear bolts. Alright, so everything's loose. When removing the seat, don't just yank it out. You can easily scratch the door frame or the side sills. You can scratch the paint. Obviously, it's a bummer if you do that. It's unnecessary. So just make sure you get in a good position and you can angle the seat out like that without scratching anything. Alrighty, so I'll put this one next to the old seat. So we got the first seat out. Very quick to do. Jack hasn't done much this video. He's just been chilling out on the seat here. Let's talk a bit about these seats. So Recaro is very well known as like bucket seats or a good upgrade for your vehicle. They are getting more and more expensive. I think the gentleman who owns this vehicle paid around 2,500 Australian dollars. They're probably around the $3,000 to $3,500 at the moment. So yeah, if you're looking to do a good upgrade on your vehicle, and you're looking to make your vehicle sort of feel a bit better when driving and hold you in, then this is what you need. So these are the bolsters I was talking about. It holds your thighs nicely in. It holds your stomach or your love handles like mine nicely in. And if I had to try push Jack out of the seat, it's way easier for him to push me out because I can just lean back into the seat, and yeah, you can imagine driving and you're going to chuck it left or chuck it right, then it's going to hold you in and you're not going to lose control. So yeah, Jack, you need to fit the next one, mate.
All right, let's do it.
Let's get it in.
First thing we're going to do is we're just going to check whether these rails actually are going to fit. The quality of them doesn't look the greatest, so we'll just chuck them in. We'll see if all the holes line up before we actually mount the seat to it. And then also this seatbelt hole, or the bracket, is actually touching our upholstery. So we'll see whether we've got some room here. We might have to make up a new bracket. So we'll chuck it in, see what it looks like. Looks like all of our holes are going to line up perfectly fine, but you can also see here we've got a lot of room before the carpet. So they have not accounted for that. We're just going to have to remove this bracket, make up a new one, and then move it across a bit so it's not touching our upholstery. It's going to rip the upholstery in time. So what we can do is we just extend it, make a new bracket, weld it back on, and then we should be good to fit the seat and fit it in. Just when you're doing something like this, it's pretty detrimental that you're getting it right, just because it's a seat belt. You don't want this snapping. Just make sure you've got some good experience with welding, making sure you know how to penetrate with your welds, and that the metal you're using is going to be nice and strong. And yeah, you should be fine after that. So let's get to doing that. Look, now that we've got the seat sitting on, this is what I was talking about. This is where the seat wants to naturally sit, and you can see the bracket is right up against the upholstery there. What we're just going to do is extend this maybe 20 mil, nothing major. We don't want to adjust the point of contact too much because then it can become weak. We're going to use some extra thick steel, so we're not going to have any problems. But we're just going to do that first before we fit the seat. You don't want to be welding anywhere near these seats either because they'll just catch alight, they're flammable. So we'll do that, we'll extend that, and then once we've extended that, we can drill a hole in it for the seat belt, and then we can fit them up, chuck them in the car. We're just gonna tack this on, just so we were able to chuck it in, just make sure it's gonna be in the right spot for us. And then we can do our final welds, and just making sure that we get good penetration, making sure that the weld's nice and strong. And if you're not confident with it, just take it to someone that can weld and can weld confidently. All right guys, now we've got a nice air gap here, allow us to get our nut in there without touching the seat and ripping the upholstery. So now that we've got that all sorted, we've checked it in the car, it's still miles away from the carpet, so we're good there. We're just gonna properly weld it on, make sure we paint it so we're not getting any rust anywhere. And then we can bolt the seat on, chuck it in, check that it all fits, bolt the seat belt itself on, and then we're good to go. All right, there we have it. Nice welds, way stronger than it was before, so we're not going to have any issues there. We beefed it up. We've got nice welds, got nice penetration, used a lot of heat in the weld, so we're not going to have any issues with that. Now we're going to paint it up, bolt up the seat belt, chuck it back in. Please don't get my bench. I won't.
Now going to be fitting this power rail to the car. This is made specifically for this car. The pity we had to amend this because it said pretty much just bolt it in and it'll work, but it would have over time damaged the bolster. So we've done that, we've fixed that. Now it's time to fit this in onto the seat and get this all buttoned up in the car. I'm going to be just putting the seatbelt buckle on. Alrighty. So that's nice and secure. Still got a little bit of play so we can adjust it once we get in the vehicle. Then I'm going to bolt some of these up. right, guys, so we've got the seat in place. Feels very nice and bolstered. We're just going to do some minor adjustments and get the other one in, and we'll see how it looks when it's all back together. Thanks very much for watching today's video. We managed to get the seats in. Again, something aftermarket, we had to do a bit of fabrication, which we weren't expecting to do. So it's been a bit harder than what we were expecting. What's your take on it, Jack?
Yeah, you can never trust aftermarket stuff. It always ends up being more work than you'd expect. But yeah, we got there in the end, and they're in there and they look great. So
yeah. Again, if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe it. And we'll see you next week.